Well, you got a surprise for us?
I do. I'm going to bring in a segment. It's something I've done on a previous podcast that I used to be a part of, a non-Suns related one, but I felt like it was appropriate because I've been reading a lot about people talking about the Suns offseason, grading it on some Sun sites and national sites, and I just felt like none of them were doing it justice, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of them were really encapsulating what was going on with this Suns team this offseason. So I present to you the Nic Cage spectrum, my friend.
Oh, dear
The
God.
Nic Cage spectrum is simple. I take a topic and I compare it to a Nic Cage movie. There's not an actor in the world that has a better filmography that goes from great to crappy and from sane to insane like Nic Cage. He's got a movie that fits everything. Today, I'm ranking the Suns offseason in the Nic Cage spectrum. And originally, I thought I was going to go with the movie Army of One. Now, I've never seen Army of One. I've heard it was terrible. It was an action comedy from 2016, but Army of One sounds like about the number of guys they signed this offseason, right? I thought it was like that, but no, I'm not gonna crap on James Jones here. It seems like it's the popular thing to do right now is to just crap on James Jones for this offseason, and I just don't see it, right? I don't think it was as bad as anybody says. This is a team that is coming off of 64 wins last year. They were good. They fell short in the playoffs, and sure, would I have loved for them to done something big and flashy? Yeah, much like when Nic Cage won an Oscar. That was great. But I don't need award-winning in everything that I do, right? As you can tell by watching the show, sometimes okay is good enough, and that's usually my average here. But to me, on the Nic Cage spectrum, I think this offseason for James Jones was National Treasures, Book of Secrets. Twofold. We didn't hear shit about what they were trying to do, so it definitely was full of secrets, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also look at it from the movie perspective. This was at a point in Nic Cage's career where he had massive success. It was one of the Cage renaissances. This was one of his big periods in film, but it also was a sequel. He ran it back from the original National Treasures. It was the first one very good. The second one, and it was right before a big drop off for him, right? He had a run of really, 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 really bad movies. And I'm afraid that we may be sitting there for the Suns. We don't know what's going to happen. I still think they need to add a piece. This offseason was running it back. It's okay. I've seen it before. So where are we going next? And that's what I want to know. Where are we headed next? Are we headed for a chasm like we saw in Nic Cage's film career? Or are we seeing, just a pause before we see a big run? So on the Nic Cage spectrum this offseason for James Jones thus far, not over yet, is National Treasures, Book of Secrets. That is the Nic Cage spectrum. So